That was Tina Turner and The Best. Now that's a song that has many memories for me, but it is the song that I would go to when my mum was having her treatment for breast cancer. Hi, Ellie. Thankfully, we caught it early, and after treatment, she received the all clear. My mum is also an amazing performer, and I do think that in a different life, she might well have been an actress. But what she did do throughout my entire childhood, was the most amazing, I guess you describe it as a kind of lip sync impression of Tina Turner. And when mum was having her treatment and having a pretty horrendous time, to be honest, I felt a million miles away, me being in London working and mum being up in Scotland. And I would put this track on and it would immediately make me feel a little bit closer to her, and it would make me smile. And still to this day, whenever I hear it, I see my mum, I could almost be sat next to her, laughing, singing along to it. And more importantly, it reminds me of how grateful we are that she's still with us. And I hope that that's a really good explanation or insight into what this show is all about. Music therapy. It's about how music has the power to comfort, to heal and inspire us all, and the positive effect that it can have on our well-being. I'm Edith Bowman, and I've invited 6 familiar faces from the world of film, music and television to share songs that have helped them through tricky times, or that they turn to like an old friend when they simply need cheering up or taken to a happy place. One of our finest young actors, Daisy Edgar-Jones, will be with me in a bit. But first, a man who is many things: composer, singer-songwriter, philanthropist, and OBE, which I did not know. Hello, Gary Lightbody, OBE. I'm going to refer to you as that from now on, or not. Thank you for doing this. Has music always been more than just music for you?
Yeah, right from I was a kid, I saw it as the joy in my life. You know, the radio would go on, and we would be sort of dancing in the living room in our sock soles, trying to moonwalk, or dance around to Madonna or whatever. And it's still very joyful for me, but it didn't have depth until I was a teenager. Yeah, until I kind of started to listen to sort of heavier stuff. Yeah, which was metal for me to begin with.
Was it?
Yeah, for sure. It was Iron Maiden, Metallica, Anthrax, Xentrix, Pantera.
Is that like kind of teenage angst in a way of kind of just...
I think so. And also the kind of people I was hanging around with at school were all listening to it, and I kind of got swept along with it. And I love it still. There's so many memories were flooding back of that time in my life where I was like sitting in my room going, raw. It's just,
you understand me.
Yes, finally somebody understands.
Let's find your first piece of music then. Tell me about what track we're going to talk about first.
Well, I guess it sort of goes on from that in my life, which was the next sort of phase, which was Nirvana. And it could be any Nirvana song, maybe Something in the Way, because I think that was maybe the first time I kind of felt the song in that way. It had a profound impact on me. It sort of changed my DNA, my friend. But never mind. We listened to it on the bus. You know those orange headphones that you got back in those days? You had to sort of twist it round to share it with your pal. So I was like twisted it. So it was like torque in it as well. So I was sort of listening to one headphone and like a sprained wrist. And then, like when I got the record for myself and listened to it every day, every minute of every day that I could, and learned every song on the guitar. That's when I first learned how to play the guitar, and Kurt Cobain kind of taught me in a way. And it's visceral, soulful, heart-rending music. There's also simplicity to it that was accessible.
Should we take you back to that bedroom then? This is Nirvana and Something in the Way. When you say it had a profound effect on you, in what way do you think it had a profound effect on you?
I think it was the first step towards me opening up on the page. I first started to write around that time. I was introduced to Seamus Heaney around that time by a wonderful English teacher. A very Dead Poet Society moment for sure. He was an extraordinary man, still is. I know him, Mark McKee. He introduced me to Seamus Heaney, Bob Dylan and Van Morrison in that English class.
Do you think that the way that he wrote, about his own experiences, and you're saying that it was a kind of great catalyst for you to be able to write on paper, do you feel like it was almost a way of you being able to write things down on paper that you maybe weren't able to vocalize to people?
Never could. I'm still able to write things down that I can't ever say. skipping ahead quite far, but when my dad died, it was a long time before I could write anything or say anything or feel anything. It was about a year. I was still numb. He died just before the pandemic. So I kind of just bottled it up. And then I finally started to write about it. I've written songs about him since then. And that's when I started to open up. So it was the page, flashing back, this Tarantino-esque, but flashing back again to, me as a 15, 16-year-old. It was the page that opened me up first, rather than me being able to say anything.
What's your next track?
Foy Vance, Indiscriminate Act of Kindness, which is from his first record, which even talking about might set me off crying, because it sets me off crying every time I hear it.
In a good way?
Oh, yeah, for sure. But it's one of the most beautiful songs about sort of human interaction, human compassion, empathy. Foy has a heart as big as all outdoors, and a mouth like a sailor.
That should be on a t-shirt.
He's one of the most extraordinary people I know, one of the most gifted songwriters, and his voice is one of my favorite voices of all time. I put his voice on a list, with Otis Redding, Aretha Franklin, Jeff Buckley. It's on a list in that zone because I think he's supernaturally gifted.
Crying's a good thing, I think. It's better out than in, as my mum would say.
Yeah.
And I think that having almost like something that will encourage you to do that is a really healthy thing, I think, as well. Do you use that song in that way, do you think?
I tend to reach for it when I feel low.
Yeah.
Even though it brings me to tears. Those are important, cathartic, releasing tears.
You feel great after it, don't you?
I do feel great after it. And there's maybe not that many songs that do exactly what that song does, that it's just pure empathy without cliche or leaning on sort of well-worn themes. It's very unusual. It sort of stands alone in a lot of ways for me anyway. And, other people might have different appreciations of it, but he just says it all really for me, in that how we should all interact with each other.
Yeah.
We should have open hearts. It feels like it's always been part of my life. And that's like an old friend, just like he is,
She came in from the cold.
Can we talk about another song that has been, like you say, it's lovely when you talk about that idea of friends, or that there's a song there for a certain reason. I've got the Walkman and the Rat is one for me that I kind of go to, where I need
Great
to just
song.
like release. I need to vent, not at someone, but just at the universe for whatever reason that is. And I will put that on and I will just lose myself for however 4.5 minutes. And then the world feels like a better place after it.
Yes. Something changed in my life around, I was 19 years old. I went to Dundee University and I was a total indie kid at the time. So everything I listened to had guitars prominently in it. Then I went to this nightclub one time called Deep End in Dundee with my flatmates who didn't really like dance music and that. I didn't know anything about it. And was listening to this electronic music that I'd never heard. Like I felt myself falling in love with it. Like I could feel myself, like I felt like this is the start of something really special.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the night, this DJ who I'd been kind of like keeping my eye on, long curly hair and having a really fun time behind the decks. The sort of lights came on, and so the last song was played, and this song just appeared in the light, in this brand new light that just had switched on.
It's like that scene from the Blues Brothers. Do you see the light?
It was exactly that. And it was after the song, I was like in tears. And after the song, I just went straight over to the DJ and went, what is that song? And I'd been dancing on my own most of the night because my flatmates had left early. And he said, it's California Soul by Marlena Shaw. And then he goes, we've been watching you all night dancing. And we've been really enjoying your dancing. And his name is Tom Simpson. And he would go on to be in Snow Patrol for 17 years. And we're still very, very close friends now, even though he's not in the band anymore. And I love him very dearly. He introduced me to soul music, to hip hop, to electronic music. I'll never be able to repay the education that he gave me. That song, it's pure, uncut joy. It really is. Anytime I am in a low mood, that song will lift me right up. it just pulls me right up by the collar and just sort of snaps me out of myself. It's a wonderful piece of music.
God bless Tom Simpson.
God bless Tommy Simpson.
Still has a real physical effect on me, that song. Marlena Shaw, California Soul. We've got to play that for Tom Simpson too. What's the next piece we're going to talk about?
Well, we'll go slightly down, if that's all right. When I stopped drinking about 6 years ago, it was because I was in a bad way. What I thought was when I stopped, that would be it. That would be the end of it.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out that way. Actually, our producer, Jack Knife Lee, said, I'm here for you anytime you need, but in 6 to 9 months, when it happens, give me a call. Because he'd been sober for 10 or 12 years at that point. And right enough, like 6 months later, I fell down a very, very deep hole. I'd never been lower in my life. A song, I can't remember when the record came out. Frank Ocean's album Blonde came out, whatever the year that was that came out. Pink and White on that record. I listened to on repeat. I think it might have saved my life.
Wow.
That song.
In what way do you think?
I honestly listened to it like it was like a life support system. I think I was close to that point. Thank you, Edith. Close to that point in my life where I was maybe not wanting to continue. And I think that piece of music gave me so much. It's like spectacularly beautiful.
I'm coming around to this microphone.
Okay.
Sit next. Yeah.
All right.
Can we change over microphones? Thanks. To admit that, I think that there's amazing things that you need to recognise, that you recognised in yourself that you needed to stop drinking, which is a hard thing to come to a point to realise and go, no, this is what I need to do. But then to find something to kind of help you out of that as well, and to make sure that you listen to people, you know, Jack Knife Lee and everybody else that's around you and stuff, but to find something in music, and particularly when music is your world, that is giving you that strength. I mean, that's the purest example of where music is more than words and melody. It's got a physical thing that can touch you, that can kind of hold your hand, that can kind of hold a mirror up. It can guide you, it can support you, it can comfort you. Have you ever thought about why it was that particular piece of music?
Not sure. It just came at the right time. For me now, when I listen to it, it just feels like it wraps around me, like warmth, like kindness.
Can you still listen to it?
Yeah, I do all the time. I listen to that album all the time. I think it's the best album of the last 10 years. But that song in particular, I have some extraordinary friends. A friend in LA, Gabrielle, who also saved my life quite a few times. And, you know, it's important to reach out to those friends whenever, you know, that you're in that place. But you're right. Sometimes music is really the only thing that can speak to you on a particular day. Yeah. Like you don't maybe want to talk about something on a particular day. And I think it is important to talk, but I also understand, because I've been in those situations where you just can't, the words won't come out.
You want to be in your own head.
Yeah. And when you are in your own head, it's good to have something that holds you up. Yeah. Doesn't push you further down. Yeah. And that felt like it was lifting me. If I was upright, it was because of that on some days.
Thanks for sharing that.
Well, thank you, Frank Ocean, by the way.
Have you ever been able to say thank you to him in person?
No.
You would if you could?
For sure, yeah.
Wow. That's Frank Ocean, Pink and White. Music can be hard to listen to sometimes, actually, as well, can't it? Mm-hmm. Because it does have that power, and you kind of don't want that sometimes.
Yeah, no, yeah, it's too daunting. Yeah. I'm in this silence. What song is going to fill this silence? Yeah. It's like, that's a lot of pressure on a song. Yeah. It's like everything gets about 3 seconds, and then nope, that's not right. That's not right. That's not right. But yeah, I don't know how many songs we chose, but I was just thinking about my dad, and we played Ward Park, which is a park in my hometown of Bangor, 3 times in 2007, 2010, and then 2019. And it was my dad's last gig that he was ever out of us, and he was sort of in a wheelchair, and but he was determined to come. And that night we had a surprise. We played One by U2, and Bono joined us on stage. And on the side of the stage, this is how much of a legend Bono is. Apparently, Bono said to one of our crew, is that Gary's dad? He saw a guy in a wheelchair over there, and they went, yeah, that's Gary's dad. And he went straight over and chatted to him for ages. And they got pictures taken with him, my dad, and then he came on and sung with us. And I didn't know any of this stuff until afterwards. And for the rest of his life, which was 6 months, my dad told that story of meeting Bono when nobody else did. My mum was out front with my sister. Everyone else was out front. My dad was the only
Jack
person
and
side of
Bono
stage.
hanging outside the
Just
stage.
my dad, Big Jack and Bono, best of pals. And he got to tell that story to everybody, all the wonderful nurses and care workers at the nursing home. Thank you to all of them as well. Yeah, he got a great story to tell, and I always loved hearing it.
That is a beautiful way to end, and a lovely nod up to Jack up there as well,
Big
playing him One by U2. Thank you for your choices. They're beautiful choices, and thank you for your honesty. And I think that as well as people finding so much comfort and joy in your music, I think from what you've talked about today, I really hope that it's helped people find and celebrate the music that's helped them through moments in their life as well, and just know that there is, if it feels like there's no one there to talk to at the minute, there's a piece of music that's there to listen to you and to help you and to hold your hand and help you through whatever it is in life, or just to be your dance partner.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Gary. Thank you.
Thank you, Edith. Lots of love to you. Lots of love to everybody.
Is it getting better?
That is, of course, One by U2. It's chosen by Gary Lightbody as a tribute to his late dad, the wonderful Jack. And hopefully Gary will get the chance to say thank you in person to Frank Ocean one day. Before we bring you my second guest, Daisy Edgar-Jones, another of the songs that I turn to when I need a little pick-me-up. This is Hard Sun by Eddie Vedder, and I'll explain exactly what it means to me after we've heard it.
Well,